I mean, not only Blake Lively, I mean, you're, phenomenal, but also to be a young Lily.
I was like, I feel like that is so
exciting because it gives you like a real, like you're really stepping into somebody's shoes. You're really like being a full chameleon with it, and I feel like that.
And she just sort of represented it all, and telling her own story the way she did and the way she's about.
A Daily Mail reporter just got fired for telling the truth about Blake Lively, and the text messages he leaked are about to destroy everything. We're talking about explosive evidence of coordinated cover-ups, Hollywood publicists throwing each other under the bus, and a young actress literally hiding from legal papers like she's playing some twisted game of hide and seek. This isn't just another celebrity drama. This is proof of how the entertainment industry really works behind closed doors.
James Fatuska from Daily Mail. We don't know if he's been fired or let go.
When one reporter decided to blow the whistle on the manipulation happening in the Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni case, powerful people made sure he paid the price. But what they didn't expect was that he kept receipts. The leaked conversations show publicists breaking their own agreements, lying to journalists, and orchestrating smear campaigns while publicly claiming to be victims. One text exchange alone could completely flip this entire legal battle on its head.
They smeared each other. They smeared each other. That is what is going to be revealed after this pretty...
And when a judge had to literally call out a production company for making excuses that sounded like, "Trust me, bro," you know this story goes deeper than anyone imagined. What you're about to discover will change how you see every Hollywood scandal that comes after this. Because if they're willing to destroy a reporter's career just for telling the truth, what else are they hiding? Meet James, a Daily Mail journalist, who thought he was just doing his job when he got caught in the middle of Hollywood's messiest legal war.
Coming in hot, you guys. Turns out Blake is not the only liar. James Fatuska, Daily Mail reporter, has come out.
This guy had been working sources, gathering information, and reporting on the Blake Lively situation like any entertainment reporter would. But when the lawsuits started flying, his world got turned completely upside down. Here's where it gets wild. James claims he was pressured into signing a legal declaration that wasn't telling the whole story. According to him, Blake Lively's legal team and publicists basically cornered him with threats. They told him that if he didn't cooperate and sign their version of events, it would jeopardize his job and legal standing.
My head is spinning from this James Fatuska correcting the record document, and I've tried to make this video.
Imagine being a reporter and suddenly finding yourself being intimidated by the same Hollywood machine you're supposed to be covering. But the real kicker? After he played along and signed their sanitized version of what happened, they fired him anyway. James is now claiming this was straight-up retaliation for his whistleblowing. The guy tried to do the right thing, got manipulated into compromising his integrity, and then got thrown away like yesterday's news when he was no longer useful. The most damaging part of his new statement reads like something out of a conspiracy thriller.
Right, so I thought through all of the possibilities as to why James Fatuska would file that declaration today, and this is what I think.
He says the document he was forced to sign appears to be part of a coordinated effort to sanitize and reinforce a falsehood. Translation: powerful people worked together to make sure their version of events became the official record, even if it wasn't true. But James kept the receipts, and what he revealed next would expose just how deep this manipulation really went. The text messages James leaked are absolutely devastating, and they prove that Blake Lively's publicist, Leslie Sloan, was playing dirty from day one.
Okay, breaking Blake and Baldoni news. So remember the Daily Mail reporter, James Fatuska. He's the one that
We're talking about conversations that completely contradict everything Team Blake has been claiming in public. Here's what really happened behind the scenes. Back in August, there was supposedly this agreed truce between both sides, Blake's publicist Leslie Sloan and Justin's rep Melissa Nathan had literally made a pact not to talk to the press or spread negativity about each other.
Oh my God. Back to school's over, guys.
They even have written proof of this agreement, with messages saying things like, "I'm not going to do it," "let me know," and "agreed." But Leslie Sloan broke that truce almost immediately. When James reached out about a story, instead of staying quiet like she promised, Leslie went full attack mode. She told him the whole cast doesn't like Justin, they hate him, and started feeding him negative information to kill positive stories about Justin. She was literally doing exactly.
I just had the best thought. Do you know why this is all better than
what they're now accusing Justin's team of doing? The most shocking part? In all these conversations where Leslie is trashing Justin and trying to manipulate press coverage, she never once mentioned anything about harassment or assault allegations. Think about that for a second. If Blake had really been victimized the way she's now claiming, wouldn't that be the first thing her publicist would mention to a reporter? Instead, Leslie's only talking about cast drama and personal grudges. James kept detailed records of these conversations.
You guys, you're getting smacked down. They tried to pull this move.
And they paint a picture of a publicist who was running her own smear campaign while publicly playing the victim. She was so aggressive about it that she kept pushing James to write negative stories, even after he told her multiple times he wasn't interested. But the real bombshell was still coming, and it would reveal just how far this coordinated deception actually went. While all this drama with the reporter was unfolding, Blake Lively's young co-star, Isabela Ferrer, decided to play the most expensive game of hide-and-seek in Hollywood history.
And thanks to Perez Hilton making a note to the judge about how abusive the court docket had become and how embarrassing it was to the wider...
This girl is literally dodging a legal subpoena. Like she's some kind of international fugitive, and the judge is having absolutely none of it. Here's what happened. Justin's legal team needed to serve Isabela with a subpoena to testify about what really went down on the It Ends With Us set. Simple enough, right? Wrong. Isabela apparently went into full witness protection mode, making herself impossible to find. Her lawyers are now claiming that Justin's team didn't try hard enough to locate her, basically arguing you didn't look in the right places, so this doesn't count.
So Jenny Slade's HR complaint to Sony has just been revealed by The Hollywood Reporter. And that's a lot.
But here's where it gets absolutely ridiculous. The judge just handed down a brutal decision that basically called out everyone involved for wasting his time. He denied Isabela's requests to get out of the subpoena and told her legal team to stop playing games. The judge literally wrote that when challenged about their efforts to find Isabela, Justin's lawyers basically said, "Trust me, bro," without providing real evidence. The most frustrating part, Isabela clearly knows there's a subpoena coming for her.
Blake Lively has a new movie coming out. She is set to co-produce and star in a new action.
She's hired expensive lawyers to fight it instead of just accepting it like a normal person would. The judge pointed out that just because her lawyer showed up in court doesn't mean they can accept the subpoena on her behalf. They still need to actually serve her personally. Think about how absurd this is. We're talking about a major Hollywood production where they obviously have Isabela's real address for contracts, payments, and insurance purposes. Someone had to pick her up for filming, fly her to locations, handle her paperwork.
August 10th, I published my interview with Blake Lively that went viral. It took a few days before it started.
Yet somehow Justin's team couldn't prove they tried hard enough to find her. But the judge's decision revealed something even more suspicious about this whole legal strategy. What the judge's ruling really exposed was a much bigger problem. This whole case is turning into a repetitive mess where everyone's asking for the same information that Blake Lively already got through her own subpoenas. And that's when you realize this isn't about finding truth.
The Daily Mail could be getting sued by their former journalist, James Vituska. He signed a sworn affidavit in the courts yesterday.
It's about creating maximum chaos and expense for the other side. The judge basically told Justin's team, hold up, if Blake already got answers from Isabela through her subpoena, why are you asking for the same stuff? This is huge because it means Blake's side might already have all the information they need to prove their case. But they're letting Justin waste time and money trying to get it again. It's like watching someone hide the answers to a test while complaining they can't find them. But here's where Leslie Sloan's behavior gets even more twisted.
We got the emails and text messages showing proof of exactly what Justin Baldoni's team had been doing to Blake Lively for the last year.
Remember those text conversations with reporter James? She wasn't just breaking her truce with Melissa Nathan. She was actively trying to turn the reporter against Justin's publicist. Leslie kept pushing James to write that Melissa was planning stories and Melissa was bad-mouthing Blake, even after James told her multiple times that wasn't true. James revealed he had a three-way call with both Leslie and Melissa, and Leslie never mentioned any harassment allegations during that conversation either.
Blake Lively, sweetie, this is giving organized chaos, and you can't fool me. Do you know why I haven't given a shit about this James Vituska man and having...
Instead, she spent the whole time trying to get James to trash Melissa and claim she was orchestrating negative press. When James refused to play along, Leslie kept pushing harder. The most damning part, Leslie was doing this while her client Blake was publicly claiming to be the victim of a smear campaign. So Blake is out there saying, Justin's team is coordinating negative press against me, while her own publicist is literally coordinating negative press against Justin.
So the other one I wanted to speak about was the James Vituska declaration.
The hypocrisy is absolutely staggering. This wasn't just about protecting Blake. This was about destroying anyone who might contradict their narrative, including reporters who refused to play along. Here's where this whole story goes from messy to absolutely criminal-level deception. Remember how James the reporter was pressured into signing that declaration? Well, it turns out Justin's legal team took that document and completely twisted what it said to fit their narrative. In the amended complaint, Justin's lawyers wrote that,
so Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds skipped the Golden Globes even though Ryan Reynolds' new film, Deadpool and Wolverine, was not.
Sloan escalated the false narrative by telling the reporter that Blake was assaulted. But that's not what happened at all. James never said Leslie told him about any assault. What actually happened was James made a typo in a text message while reacting to Blake's legal complaint, accidentally wrote the wrong word, and immediately corrected himself. But here's the truly disgusting part. James says he told Justin's legal team multiple times, including in writing on December 25th.
And this is how her house of lies crumbles. Hello, my friend.
That Leslie Sloan never mentioned any assault allegations to him. He was crystal clear about this. Yet, they went ahead and used his mistaken text message in their legal filing anyway, making it look like Leslie had spread assault rumors when she hadn't. James kept the receipts that prove this cover-up. In his text exchanges with Brian Friedman, Justin's lawyer, he explicitly states, "Never once did she mention anything about harassment, and I had many conversations with her about Blake."
Judge Lyman issued an order today regarding the Wayfair motion for alternatives.
And never once did she say anything about assault. He even sent screen recordings of his conversations with Leslie to prove his point. The most damning evidence? James told them directly that Leslie was trying to get him to say Melissa was planning negative stories, but he refused because I told her countless times it was not the case. So Leslie was the one trying to manipulate press coverage, not Melissa.
my God. A 3-in-1. That's right. You're going to get 3 different stories.
When James realized his corrected statements were being ignored and his mistake was being used to support false claims, he tried to set the record straight. But by then, the damage was done, and suddenly he found himself fired from his job. But the final revelation would show just how deep this web of manipulation really went. The implications of these revelations are absolutely massive, and they could completely destroy Blake Lively's entire legal strategy. Think about what we've just uncovered. Her publicist was caught red-handed.
Blake Lively was reportedly not invited to Taylor Swift's intimate pre-album launch dinner. Why is that, do we think?
Oh, so interesting.
Doing exactly what they're accusing Justin's team of doing. A reporter was manipulated into signing false statements, and a co-star is playing elaborate games to avoid testifying. Here's the brutal reality check. If Leslie Sloan was out there coordinating negative press coverage, while Blake was publicly claiming to be the victim of a smear campaign, what does that say about Blake's credibility? The woman is literally accusing Justin of orchestrating the exact same behavior her own team was engaged in.
It is 100% definitive now that James Fitzduca is working alongside Blake Lively and her legal team. Blake Lively and her...
It's like watching someone steal your wallet while screaming that they're being robbed. But it gets even worse when you dig into the timeline. Leslie Sloan wasn't just spreading negative stories. She was doing it during a period when both sides had agreed to a truce. She literally broke her word and violated their mutual agreement while simultaneously preparing to accuse the other side of bad faith. That's not just hypocrisy, that's calculated deception at the highest level. The reporter situation is potentially case-ending for Blake's team.
I was right, and I told you so. Those are 2 of my favorite.
James has now provided documented proof that Justin's legal team misrepresented his statements in official court filings. But here's the thing. While that makes Justin's lawyers look bad, it actually helps Justin's case overall. Why? Because it proves Leslie Sloan never mentioned any harassment allegations to the press, even when she was actively trying to damage Justin's reputation. Think about how damning that is. Leslie had multiple opportunities to mention serious allegations to a reporter.
The fact that the internet was able to go back and look at all of the layers and look at all of the old interviews and to look at her,
who was clearly willing to listen to negative information about Justin. She threw everything else at the wall: caste drama, personal grudges, professional conflicts, but never once brought up harassment or assault claims. If those allegations were real and serious, they would have been her nuclear option. The fact that she didn't use them suggests they didn't exist at that time. This creates a massive credibility problem for Blake's entire narrative. How do you claim you were victimized by serious harassment?
Blake Lively's only move now, especially with chatter of Taylor Swift having songs about her on the new album, is...
But your own publicist never thought to mention it when she was actively working to destroy your alleged attacker's reputation. Either the allegations are false or Blake wasn't telling her own team about them, which makes no sense. And Isabela's hide-and-seek routine, that screams guilty conscience. If she had testimony that would help Blake's case, she'd be rushing to give it. Instead, she's spending serious money on lawyers to avoid saying anything under oath.
Guys, I'm genuinely shocked that as of about 2... I know! Hi, Goaties! As about 2 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday...
The judge already called out the weak excuses, and when Isabela finally has to testify, those delays are going to make her look incredibly suspicious to any jury. But here's where this gets really interesting from a legal strategy perspective. The judge's ruling about repetitive discovery requests suggests Blake's team already has Isabela's testimony from their own subpoenas. So why are they letting Justin waste time and money trying to get the same information? Either they're playing games to drain his resources.
I think Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and Isabela Ferrer have been planning this PR stunt. legal filing.
Or Isabela's testimony actually helps Justin's case and they don't want him to have it. The financial implications alone are staggering. Every time Isabela's team files another motion to avoid the subpoena, both sides are racking up massive legal bills. The judge specifically warned about this, noting that if Blake already got the information through her discovery, making Justin pay to get it again could be considered an unfair burden. That's judicial language for stop playing expensive games.
Remember I said that I believe the 107 content creators that Blake Lively subpoenaed were selected from PR.
The pattern of manipulation is now so well documented that it's becoming the story itself. Every time Blake's team claims they're being victimized, people can point to Leslie Sloan's text messages and ask, really? Because your publicist was doing the exact same thing you're complaining about. That's not just bad optics. That's the foundation of a defamation countersuit. And let's talk about James the reporter for a minute. This guy is now a walking example of what happens when you get caught.
Legacy Media has popped off with Blake Lively and Isabela Ferrer's PR stunt that they pulled on the federal court document.
Between warring Hollywood factions. He tried to do the right thing, got manipulated by both sides, lost his job, and is now basically unemployable in entertainment journalism because sources won't trust him. But his willingness to come forward with evidence makes him incredibly credible as a witness. The fact that James kept detailed records of his conversations with Leslie Sloan is absolutely devastating for Blake's case. These aren't he said, she said allegations anymore.
I have this theory that I think Leslie Sloan is going to try and pull an Uno reverse card and really blow shit up at court for Justin Baldoni.
They're documented communications that show Leslie actively trying to manipulate press coverage. When James repeatedly told her that Melissa Nathan wasn't feeding him negative stories about Blake, Leslie kept pushing him to write that anyway. Here's something that hasn't been talked about enough. The three-way call between James, Leslie, and Melissa Nathan that James mentioned. During that call, Leslie never brought up any harassment allegations against Justin. Think about the psychology of that moment.
So you've probably heard by now James Dobson died. He wrote 2 really important books, The Strong-Willed Child and...
If your client had been genuinely victimized, wouldn't that be the first thing you'd mention when you're on a call with both a reporter and your opponent's representative? The legal ramifications for Justin's attorneys are also significant. Brian Friedman and his team now have a serious problem. They used a reporter's mistaken text message in official court filings. Even after that, reporter explicitly told them it was wrong.
I told you I'd talk about this, so I am. And I think it's dumb, and I think James Fitzuka is flipping. We know if you guys follow Chris
that could result in sanctions from the court, professional discipline, or worse. But ironically, this mistake might actually help Justin's case by proving how desperate his legal team was to find evidence of Blake's claims. From a public relations standpoint, this is a disaster for Blake. The entire case was supposed to be about her being victimized by a coordinated smear campaign, but now there's documented proof that her own team was running the exact same type of operation. Every interview she gives, every statement her lawyers make.
Okay, breaking Blake and Baldoni news. So remember the Daily Mail reporter, James Fitzuka. He's the one that...
Every social media post from her supporters can now be met with, but what about Leslie Sloan's text messages? The judge's language in the Isabela Ferrer ruling is also telling. When a federal judge writes that your legal arguments amount to "trust me, bro," you've lost all credibility in that courtroom. That's not just a denial of a motion. That's a judicial eye roll that suggests the court is getting tired of these games. But perhaps the most significant long-term impact is...
I had to pull over for this. James Fitzuka is a turd. He is the epitome of a two-faced liar. The person...
What this reveals about how Hollywood really operates. The public is getting a behind-the-scenes look at how publicists manipulate press coverage, how legal teams pressure witnesses, and how powerful people coordinate to control narratives. James the reporter isn't just a victim. He's a whistleblower exposing an entire system of manipulation. The house of cards is collapsing, and what's being revealed underneath might be the real story of what happened on that movie set. Because if Blake's team is willing to manipulate reporters, pressure witnesses, and misrepresent evidence in court filings...
I talked more. No, you're fine. No, I mean, the work and the effort you put into this movie is enormous and phenomenal, and it wouldn't be what it is without you.
What else are they hiding about the actual events they're suing over? This case has now become less about Blake versus Justin, and more about whether the entertainment industry can continue operating with this level of coordinated deception. The evidence is piling up, the credibility is crumbling, and everyone involved is starting to look like they're more interested in winning a PR war than seeking actual justice. So here's what we've really uncovered in this legal mess.
I was in everything. Debate team?
No, that'd be so good.
You'd ruin everybody.
I'm gonna join a high school debate.
Blake Lively's entire case might be built on a foundation of coordinated manipulation that her own team was orchestrating from the beginning. We've got documented proof of her publicist breaking agreements, manipulating press coverage, and doing exactly what they're accusing Justin's team of doing. We've got a reporter who was pressured into signing false statements and then fired when he tried to tell the truth. And we've got a co-star who's spending serious money to avoid testifying under oath about what really happened on set.
I was right, and I told you so. Those are two of my favorite.
The most shocking revelation isn't just that Leslie Sloan was running her own smear campaign. It's that she never once mentioned harassment allegations while doing it. Think about that for a second. If Blake had really been victimized, the way she claims, her publicist would have used that as ammunition when she was actively trying to destroy Justin's reputation. Instead, Leslie focused on caste drama and personal grudges, which suggests the serious allegations either...
I don't know about you, but I thought she was 22. I'm supposed to do math right now?
Didn't exist at that time or weren't credible enough to use as weapons. James the reporter has become an unlikely hero in this story. Despite losing his job and facing professional ruin, he's provided evidence that could completely flip this case. His text messages and recorded conversations prove that Blake's team was engaged in the exact same behavior they're now claiming to be victims of. That's not just hypocrisy, that's potential evidence of bad faith litigation.
No, we wanted to hear what has been the best part about making this particular film. All of it.
The judges' reactions tell us everything we need to know about how this case is being perceived in court. When a federal judge essentially tells you that your legal arguments sound like, "Trust me, bro," you've lost credibility that's almost impossible to recover. Isabela Ferrer's hide-and-seek routine has backfired spectacularly, making her look guilty of something when she was probably just trying to avoid getting dragged into drama. But the biggest takeaway from all this chaos is what it reveals about Hollywood's machine of manipulation.
To everyone asking why Isabela needed a lawyer to respond to a third-party subpoena, check the docket.
We're seeing in real time how publicists coordinate narratives, how legal teams pressure witnesses, and how powerful people try to control stories through intimidation and deception. The fact that a reporter got fired for refusing to play along shows just how dangerous it can be to tell the truth in this industry. Blake Lively started this fight claiming to be a victim of coordinated attacks, but the evidence suggests she might have been the one coordinating them all along. The text messages don't lie, the timeline doesn't lie, and the pattern of behavior is now undeniable.
The casting is incredible. You are a young Blake Lively in real life.
I know, even...
When your own publicist's documented actions contradict everything you're claiming in court, you've got a credibility problem that no amount of legal maneuvering can fix. this story is far from over, and if these revelations are any indication, more explosive evidence is probably coming. The legal system is designed to find truth, and all these attempts to manipulate and control the narrative are slowly being exposed. James the reporter might have lost his job, but he's provided a roadmap for uncovering the real story behind this Hollywood drama. What do you think about these revelations?
She has just, I don't know what she's seen in me, but I think we both just like understood that support is.
Are you shocked by the level of manipulation that's been exposed? Or does this just confirm what you already suspected about how the entertainment industry really operates? The documented evidence is pretty damning, but there are still more witnesses to hear from and more discovery to be revealed. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think Blake's case can survive these credibility hits, or is this the beginning of the end for her legal strategy? And what about James the reporter? Is he a whistleblowing hero or just another casualty of Hollywood's war machine? Make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell because this case is moving fast and new developments are dropping constantly. If you found this breakdown helpful, smash that like button and share it with anyone who's been following this drama. The truth has a way of coming out eventually, and we're going to be here to break it all down as it happens. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one where we dive even deeper into this Hollywood scandal that just keeps getting more insane.